We in the news department here at WBAY-TV are quite excited today. From now on, our cameraman will be out there with the sound on film camera, and you'll see him and hear his voice, just as you are seeing me and hearing my voice at this time.
Television was so new in the area. See, Channel 11 came on the air only 18 months after the first station in the market.
Woolworths, they had the first escalator in town. Everybody had to go down and ride that escalator. It was a big, mean downtown attraction.
Remember, Woolworth was at the corner of Cherry and Washington Street. We had a nice downtown area, very well developed and well patronized.
As a kid, my father and I used to walk to the downtown from where we lived on Willow Street.
Mr. Richards, first let me congratulate you on your election as Green Bay's next mayor.
Thank you.
And Otto Richards was very vehemently against going to Lake Michigan for water.
Unless the city of Green Bay grows much more than twice its size, it would be unnecessary for it to go outside of the city limits for any water whatsoever.
In fact, he even had a big tanker on Washington Street with a sign on, "Try and taste some of this dirty Lake Michigan water." I supported Lake Michigan water right from the beginning, and by golly, we won.
I do not think Preble residents should vote themselves into paying for Green Bay's expensive Lake Michigan water project.
The town of Preble would get far more for their money by considering consolidation with the city of Green Bay.
Or in other words, come under the jurisdiction of the Green Bay government.
What do you feel are the most important issues confronting the city of Green Bay within the next 2 important years?
Of course, one is, no doubt, parking and traffic.
WBAY now joins the Conelrad test alert on 1,240 kilocycles.
This is part of Operation Alert 1956, the nationwide civil defense exercise.
The bulk sales of cheese were made on a weekly basis was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, not the Chicago Board of Trade or down in Wall Street, New York, but in Green Bay. We used to go and watch the Packers practice when I was a kid behind East High School.
It was always a feeling amongst the East Side people that the stadium should be at its present site for the reason that there's plenty of parking available on all the streets around the stadium.
Well, the problem really was they needed new seats and the parking was bad and there was no room for expansion.
Mayor, would you comment on the results of the Osborne survey that was presented to the council last night?
I'm very pleased with the survey because it does give valuable information where the stadium should be built.
We feel that their choice of a site is one that will be accepted by the state as a whole and one which we know will serve the Packers for many years to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Common Council of the City of Green Bay charged the Stadium Commission with the duty of operating and managing this beautiful stadium.
60 or 70,000 people to do this for the Green Bay Packers and the city of Green Bay. It certainly should set an example for some of the larger cities of what enthusiasm and desire and love of sports will do.
We all know that we have a tremendous traffic problem in the city of Green Bay.
To carry traffic around and to the downtown rather than through the downtown. The presence of electric vehicles to carry persons from one part of the downtown to another.
Today we have cleared one of the last hurdles on the long road toward finally getting a new post office building for the Green Bay area.
We're talking to Jerry Marchette of 1626 Willow Street, whose home you see in the background almost completely demolished by the tornado that struck Green Bay, Preble, and Ashwaubenon last night. Did you ever see a storm like this before?
Never.
Green Bay, at least in my mind, offers one of the best prospects for economic growth of any other region in the whole state of Wisconsin.
This plan has been developed with these main purposes in mind. One, to make it easy, convenient, and attractive for people to come to Green Bay.
It's possible to create basically 3 pedestrian areas which are totally free of vehicular traffic.
Number 2, to develop the core area of our downtown as a major attraction for retail shoppers from hundreds of miles away.
We feel that if the plan is not undertaken, there will be a series of conditions building up in the downtown which will adversely affect the city.
3, to spur the growth and development of the fine shopping areas in the outlying areas of the city.
This is Don Love, reporting to you from the midst of this teeming throng of Packer fans that are assembled here at the
Austin's Travel Field in Green Bay, anxiously awaiting the return of the city's conquering heroes.
First of all, on behalf of the people of Green Bay, we would like to thank the Packer Executive Committee for bringing us such a fine football coach in Mr. Lombardi and his staff. And lastly, we want to thank our Green Bay Packer players for bringing us the championship to the great city of Green Bay.
It's really regarded as something of a phenomenon that a city of this size, of just barely over 60,000 people, and not a very rich city at that, can support as wholeheartedly as it does a team with the playing excellence of the Packers.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this crowd goes up, although the temperature is 7 below zero. The cameras pop, the flash bulbs. It's going to be difficult to even get through the well wishes. Vince, on behalf of everybody, may I offer my congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, Alan. Yeah. It was a great day.
It's a great way to end 1962.
What was your reaction?
Well, it was one of grave shock. I can't see how any American citizen could consider shooting the President of the United States.
It was just a shock.
It's difficult to comprehend.
There's no words to really see how people feel about it.
I think this is the worst thing that could happen to this world.
Because Preble has been recently reassessed in 1956, there will be little or no change in their assessment if they were to consolidate with the city of Green Bay.
The town of Preble voted 2-1 to consolidate with the city of Green Bay. And the city of Green Bay voted 4-1 to get Preble in. So it was a good marriage. We doubled the size area-wise of the city of Green Bay when we took Preble in. We built a new parking garage there along the river, and so everything was moving along pretty fast.
We did build a new Southwest High School. We built a new Kennedy School. We built the University of Wisconsin Extension Center and won the All-American City Award.
A city, I think, can be likened to a home. The city downtown area is the center of activity for the entire city. We have a downtown that is deteriorated, and there's no question about this. Something has to be done.
That in the end result, we will have a totally developed, conceived plan for downtown Green Bay.
We were interested as a city in making sure that the environmental aspects of the city were cared for.
The fact that the city of Green Bay has had an air pollution control ordinance since 1950 is evidence that it was considered rather important at that time, and it is more so now.
The industries have worked harder on that than industries in many parts of the country, and so they're farther advanced in clean air issues and water issues than they are in a lot of places in the country.
As we have more automobiles, we have more problems with the railroads.
We in the railroad industry will, as we have done in the past, attempt to do everything that we can to eliminate the unnecessary blocking of crossings.
Thank heavens that we have the railroads. Without them, the city of Green Bay would be at a standstill.
I thought it was a wonderful game. I think the Packers played an outstanding game all the way through.
Oh, it was a great game.
Man, it was great.
And I think the old age, the overuse, and the undercapacity of our bridges pose a real threat to human safety.
Now, the council will determine whether or not we're going to go into a remodeling program on Mason Street or to replace it with a new structure.
If we delay our bridges, they could cost double the figures that we have anticipated.
The citizens of this area had initially paid for all three bridges by themselves, but our plans call for the replacement of the Mason Street Bridge in 1968. It's out of the question for a high-level bridge. It would have to be about the height of St. Vincent's Hospital.
A state highway patrolman came along and stopped the car in front of us, bearing Dominic Olenichek and V.T. Lombardi. That police officer said, "Go right ahead," and smiled, opened his hand as though he were handing this street to Coach Lombardi.
And at 10:15 this morning, this street becomes officially known as Vince Lombardi Avenue.
Green Bay and the state of Wisconsin. It's my privilege to present the President of the United States.
Green Bay. This town's got character, and a lot of character, and I congratulate this town for it.
We have a very desirable area to live in, and people tend to move here.
There were many things going on in the city when I became mayor. We had taken over the bus system and we had to convert it into something usable for the citizens. The mall wasn't built. There were no parking garages. Buildings had been torn down and flattened in anticipation of the mall. Well, building that in the parking garages was pretty much the effort for the first year.
WIXX goes automated. Top 40 music played by a computer.
The Green Bay market isn't advanced enough to sustain a progressive radio station.
Robots, they can't take requests.
And all I can say right now is, wow, isn't this fantastic?
It was the first successful indoor mall in the Midwest, let alone in the center of a city. They were building a lot of malls on the outsides of cities, nothing in the center.
And in no other case that I'm aware of do we have such a rapport going between the city and the community and the mall.
And it was with the intent that in time it could be used for other development.
It really did transform downtown, and it had its heyday for not long enough. In the mid-80s, it was very vibrant.
If this were Kansas or certainly Florida or California, a rain like this would have washed out the event completely, but not in Green Bay.
One of those leaves should fail when it's in the up position. It would no doubt take a majority of the bridge with it.
The Packers to be America's team.
That trophy is yours. Thank you very much.
For the first time in 3 years, the city's Main Street had a connection, a bridge between the east and west sides of town.
I never anticipated, and I don't think anybody else in government did, that the Packers were going to need a new stadium in 2003.
We've got a great economic base. We have good industry. There's good people that live in this community that give to the charity, they work hard. The children need to know where they live and why they live in such a great city. We have some new developments on the east side and west side. We have a great educational system, a very good technical school. We have the university.
We also have 2 symphonies and we have 2 performing arts centers, and we've got a great museum, and we've got a great botanical garden and a railroad museum and wonderful shops and wonderful restaurants. Broadway has had an enormous renaissance.
Work with your department heads, with the general public and the industries around you to try to help them, and you help yourself.
Green Bay is a very friendly town. It's got a good mix of different nationalities.
It's an extremely safe place. It's a city where everybody tends to know everybody, and even if they don't, they treat you like they know you.
Green Bay is a conservative, spiritual community that is in love with the football team.
Green Bay has got a very, very bright future. There's a lot of things that are going to happen here because of all the work and dedication that people have done to get us where we are. You're going to see residential living, all different levels, the rentals to the high-end condominiums, all downtown. Our downtown is going to continue to evolve. We have waterfront development coming. We're going to have people living downtown in Green Bay. We're going to be a regional healthcare community here. Patient care is going to be not only for this community, but for the whole Northeast Wisconsin. This is something we're celebrating. You're living in the best city on this planet. It just doesn't get any better than Green Bay, Wisconsin.